This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening, folks. Time being 4:46, I'd like to call this meeting of July 25th, 2024 to order. Let the record show that Selectman Ruggles is on his way, just got a little delayed in traffic. We'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I have a motion to accept some donations. I'd like to make a motion to accept a $40 cash donation to the Senior Center from Nicoy and Alicia Miller after they were married in Town Hall.
Jessamine, second.
A motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Motion passes. Thank you very much. When Kim marries somebody in Town Hall, she always makes the donation to the Senior Center. Thank you, Kim. A motion has been made. I'd like to make a motion to accept $150 from the Franklin Savings Bank for a National Night Out.
Second, Scanlon.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. I'd like to make a motion for $250 from Dunkin' Donuts for National Night Out.
Second, Scanlon.
All right, second by John. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Is Kim right downstairs can she talk for deeded properties? Oh, no. We can get her started on deeded properties. Or we can go into Selectmen's reports. Oh, yep. Take a look at that.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of July 18th as presented.
Second, Scanlon.
A motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Has everybody read the July 11th ones?
Yeah.
Do we have any corrections or concerns on the July 11th one?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of July 11th as presented.
I'll second it for discussion.
You showed up.
Did?
No.
Oh, I get it. Might be. One sec. We are going to be, 1 second.
I have one thing on page 3
Okay.
at the top. This is July 11th, right?
Yes.
Up at the top paragraph on page 3 on the right-hand side, little, way down, Selectman Dawson said that it was a family plot for that piece of property in late 1800s.
Okay.
All right. I was going to say probably, but it's all right.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
You're all right with that?
Can't do particular.
I hope the rest of the evening goes that way. No, did I say that? Okay. Any other questions or concerns? I'll entertain a motion.
The motion's been made.
Oh, yeah,
and
that's right, we
seconded.
did. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Kim, we're gonna talk about deeds. The deeded. You wanna come up?
Kim, your report is in their binder under reports.
We don't go by. Kim, we do not go by specific names, we just go by number one, number two.
Perfect.
There we go.
All right, good afternoon.
Whereabouts in here is it?
What I have, if it's easier for you folks,
Under
to-
reports, under the reports tab.
Oh,
you've got the full one, and I've got a little cheat sheet here if you just want to go through number 1 through 10. If it's easier, and then you've still got your information.
Yeah, okay, it's in here.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, we're about 3 weeks away from deeding. And the beginning of next week, I will be sending out the non-certified letters. Most people have received the letters. And I just want to review what's happening. If we just go down the list quickly. Number 1, I received a note. He signed the certified slip. So I am confident that he will be in touch. He's been in touch in the past. Number 2, he is not signed for the certified to a new Concord address. So I will be sending out the P.O. Box one, the non-certified mail, the beginning of the week. Here you go. Just a cheat sheet. Number 3, I spoke with her. She called 3 to 4 weeks ago, asking the question when deeding would be. I think she will show up. Number 4, she signed the card. I'm going to guess that she'll show up. Number 5, I have heard nothing yet, but with these people, they have 2 mortgages, 2 different mortgage or whatever companies, and I've received signed cards from them, so the mortgagees are aware of it. Number 6, I believe this is the same as last year, and she showed up just before noon on the final day. Number 7, same thing. I spoke with this person probably 2 to 3 weeks ago, and I'm confident that this person will show up in time. Number 8, I believe this is the same thing with her, and her mortgage card came back. Number 9, his mortgage card did come back. Excuse me, his mortgage company did sign the card, so at least they know about it. And last but not least, the same thing with number 10. I've received signed cards from the other interested parties. So I know there's a lot of stuff in the works. It's, I would say pretty much everybody does have an idea what's going on, even if they haven't signed the cards. And again, next Monday, I will send out regular mail letters because those usually don't get ignored. People that want to sign for certified. And I think we're in good stead. I'd like to see us see this completely get cleared up so we don't do deeding. But there is a, much like last year, there's a high percentage of mobile homes this year.
What road is number 10 on?
I did not put him down.
Wait, no, it's okay. I can look it up later.
Oh my goodness, I didn't put that down. My apologies. I can get that to you.
No, that's okay. I can look it up.
It's Quinn Street.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. So what I've done is I will schedule another appointment, another time to meet with you folks. before, which I believe is next week, and then there's 2 weeks. You've got your being skipped. And then the next time you're back is the 15th, which is when I'm going to deed at noon time. So next week we'll
When's
see
the
where things
deeding?
are at.
It's on
August 15th.
Yeah.
And that's going to be at noon time. Any other
It's
questions?
right there.
Then I can, yeah. Can I answer any other questions? All right, super.
Yes, Ken.
Yes,
Is the AC working good in there?
I love that AC in there. If you were in there,
I'm checking
I
through
would have
everybody.
hugged. I would have hugged you. It's wonderful. Thank you.
They're virtual.
Yes, there you go.
It's everybody.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. It's been wonderful.
You.
Okay, thanks, Kim.
Okay, thank you, folks. I
All right.
appreciate the time.
Okay, at this time, we've got just a couple of minutes. I want to bring up the High Street property that we're bringing up for auction. I've had numerous calls on this. The ad in the paper was incorrect. The ad on the website was incorrect. We've had numerous people come in. Somebody mowed the property around the,
Property, do we know?
somebody mowed the property, and people are walking the property with the understanding that that's the boundaries of the property, and they're not knowing what the boundaries are, and they're on somebody else's land, and they're not knowing what the boundaries are. Years ago, we promised that we would leave this, and I know we didn't make a motion. I can feel Joe's energy here already rearing up to say something. I know we didn't make a motion, but we made a promise. The first people that bid on this reneged. They lost their monies. The second people declined. We didn't ask the third parties, and they were the abutters. And since then, it's been in and out of a little battle with the abutters, whether or not it would be green space or not. The minimum requirement for the village district is 15,000 square feet. We have a little over 1,000 square feet over the minimum to build a building there. It's all ledge. I don't see the purpose. I do see what happened a few years ago on High Street, going down towards the river, the brook, I mean, where we have a building on a postage stamp within inches of the setback to the brook, built on a postage stamp, and we have runoff and ice built up on the roadway on High
Excuse me,
Street.
shouldn't there be a motion for reconsideration if we're going to be discussing
I haven't
this?
got that yet. I'm considering
Usually
it.
discussion is after that.
No,
I didn't
no,
feel
usually a
you wanted to-
discussion is before that. Excuse me. So during this time, I've gotten numerous complaints, not just from the abutters, not just from the neighborhood, but from a lot of other people in town. We have a petition from the neighbors to stop the auction. So I'm asking the board, and I will make a motion to cancel the auction and think about what we're doing. So I will now make a motion to cancel the auction.
Wouldn't it be a motion for reconsideration since there already was a motion to sell and to do the auction?
Whatever you want. Yeah, it's a motion to cancel the auction.
This is a new motion,
Correct,
because this is to cancel the auction.
right.
Which was a motion that we made and agreed to do.
The motion was to auction.
Yes.
So you're not returning to that motion. This is a new motion.
It's a motion to cancel the auction.
Besides, that's
Either
Robert's
way,
Rules of Order is not, I mean, we
either way.
don't follow that. Anyway,
Yeah, could I get opinion of the moderator?
it's not a motion to reconsider. It's a brand new motion.
Okay, motion to reconsider. Let
Okay,
them
whatever. Second.
have it their way. I don't care. As long as it gets done, it's fine with me. Motion to reconsider. Do I hear a second?
I seconded it for discussion.
Okay. Discussion. I have a little over 50 signatures here. Let me pass them out.
So discussion, this property, it was asked if the Conservation Commission wanted to keep it for a park. Conservation Commission said absolutely not.
Have you verified these? Yeah.
Conservation Commission said no, because they didn't want to take on the maintenance of it. And we looked at everything else. We had, everybody had the opportunity to purchase this over the years and to do the auction. Right now, we're facing just tax increases in that. For us to hold on to a piece of property solely because petitioners in the neighborhood or somebody else wants to keep it, I don't believe that's lawful. From everything I'm told, if we hold on to a piece of property that we took on foreclosure, and then other people's property, we go and we sell at auction. It's, who's going to pay for the maintenance of this? The loss in taxes that are for the other citizens in the town. It's just not right. The town should not be holding on to property with no legitimate purpose.
We
Just
have a
remember,
legitimate purpose,
go ahead, Catherine.
which was when we went through the process the first time, when it came back to us, we had discussions, I'll say, about how to proceed forward. And the bottom line is we didn't sell it because we listened to the neighbors saying, please don't. So we didn't. But shame on us for not putting a conservation easement on it or having a warrant article at town meeting that said, turn it into a park. We didn't do anything. We just said, okay, we won't sell it. And it sat there. And now those people in that neighborhood have been enjoying that parcel as a vacant lot. My understanding is that there's wildlife that comes down out of Buffalo and whatnot and
0.3 acres.
goes
right?
through there, but nevertheless, they've been
houses.
enjoying the vacant lot. I'm inclined to stop the auction and listen to those in the neighborhood that, I don't know how many years ago it was that we said, okay, we'll leave it vacant.
I think we all have to remember that the town cannot profit off of this. So we're not looking at $80, $100, $150,000 to sell a lot and then recoup that. We can only recoup what was done for losses in admin fees, in ads, in our auction funds. That's all we can recoup. So that small amount is what we can recoup. The rest of it, no matter how, let's say, I'm just giving you an example for those that don't know it. Let's say taxes owed on it when admin fees and lawyers and auctioneer fees and so on and so forth come to $26,000 and we sell it for, let's say, $49,000. That extra money goes back to the bank that foreclosed on it. So do we want to sell a piece of property that we know that has been loved for so many years, for a lot of years, and it's just been empty, and what the potential of a build can be built on in such a very small space. There's absolutely, if they go with 15,000 square feet, and that's a minimum build, the house that can be built on that, and the only way that you can build on a house is go up. And if you would like to see the atrocity of what it means to go up in a neighborhood, pass those around and look at 35 Lakewood. These were just built last year. And see if you want that in the village district. Because that's what it will become.
How many
They
feet?
can go 35 feet high in a village district because they can't go this way. They can't go this way, but they can go up. And it's within, what, a few hundred feet of Buffalo Park? That's where the deer, when they leave my house, that's the path that they follow.
Down to the brook.
Correct.
Is the signature somewhere on the table?
You have a copy. You should have a copy
Signatures are right there.
right there. Is it worth a tax dollars of $1,500 a year or $2,000 a year? Is this worth it to the town of Tilton? Is it in the better, or leave it as a conservation where it's just empty with nothing?
Conservation Commission said they didn't want it.
It doesn't matter whether the Conservation Commission wants it or not. The town can leave it empty. The town can have a community garden there. The town can do nothing with it.
Well, if we make it a park, it's under the park commissioner's
Right.
supervision.
It's even a better idea.
And the fact is, the town can maintain it. I mean, we haven't done anything to it all these years. There's been no cost. I think neighbors have, in the neighborhood have.
The bottom line is that there is such an increase in housing and developments that right now we're the decrease in our green space right now is the word I want to use is threatening. So do we really want, where this has been not a threat to us at all, it's just a very small little piece, and think about what you can build there. Think about what the person can build there and what it is to the neighbors when they do build. It's not aesthetically correct to the village district once they build there.
Well, that's a planning board decision.
No, it's not. It's the zoning and the planning that's already created the zoning rules and regulations. I'm trying to tell you that now. You have a 20-foot setback on all sides, but you do have a 35-foot height.
And the 20 foot can
Tell
be
me
changed.
what that's going to look like.
And the 20 feet can be changed. Goes planning all the time.
Not if we
CBA.
sell it, not if we sell it this week. In a year from now, after they build, it can be changed.
The fact is, I think we should, as we have done, leave it as it is. That's what we said we would do years ago. We have a large number of residents. I mean, some of these are on School Street, Winter Street. They're not even abutters that are asking us to leave it vacant. And I think we should honor that.
It's a nice walkable area. Those people from School Street, High Street, Pine Street, Highland Avenue, that is a very walkable area.
I mean, shame on us for not moving forward years ago and preserving it.
Go ahead, Joe.
As soon as the shame word comes out, I have to register my objection to this. I think we should sell it. I think we have an obligation to the taxpayers in Tilton to get back the tax money that we have been owed for years. The issue of whether a bank gets the access or not is neither here nor there to us. They're owed the money. They're next in line. Tim, how much is the amount of taxes owed plus?
The total is $35,973.79.
And that's real money. Buffalo Park's just around the corner, and 2 days before we're going to have this auction, now we're talking about canceling it. When last week we were unanimous, we were going to sell it. That decision will cost us $3,000. If we cancel, we get absolutely nothing back. If we sell it, we get the $3,000 back from the sale of the property. I'm a sell. I understand it's a nice piece of property. You've got how many people on your list? Everybody throws in a couple $100. They can buy it and do whatever they want with it. I see taxpayers from the other side of town here who may or may not care whether that property necessarily is a scrub lot or not. Although probably I'm talking to the wrong person. Yeah. But that's my personal feeling.
Which lots do we decide that when we're supposed to be selling them and auctioning them off as we originally decided? Which ones do we see? We've got the hardest thing that we have to do as selectmen is take away people's property because they don't pay their taxes. The reason why we have to take it away is because we have to pay those taxes to the other citizens in this town. That's what we have to do. There's no reason whatsoever why a collection could not be made and then purchase this piece of property. It will make it so it's back on the tax roll, because we got to remember that over the years, I don't know what the assessed value is.
It's 49,000 currently, but that's the 23 value.
Yeah, so it's probably going to be 80,000. And then we look at that at our tax, per thousand, what we're paying on land. That's forever. We're taking that income away from the town. People can get together and they can buy it. This only does the neighborhood good. It's a small lot, and people can go, they don't have to wait a year. They can go to ZBA and they can have the setbacks change. It happens all the time. And under those conditions, that I can't see, where do we have a list of 10 people who could not pay their taxes, and some very local to that. And then we're not collecting taxes off a piece of property that's vacant, and the Public Works Department had to clean it up. They had to clean
We don't know
debris
that
off
the
of it.
Public Works Department is the one that cleaned it up, number one. Number
Yes, they
two,
did. They had
number
to,
two,
they
these
picked up
people-
a fence there.
they're-
Let me just finish. They picked up a fence there and they cleaned up that lot before the auction.
Who asked them to do that? The Board of Selectmen didn't.
I have no
Well,
idea
debris
who
on
did
it.
it.
You
Debris
see, and this is
collecting.
one of the problems with this process for this piece of property. Granted, I was gone for 3 years, but in the past, we didn't have a conversation, then jump right to it. There was, okay, we're going to move forward with this. And then the Board of Selectmen to have a conversation about the procedure of the auction. What's the minimum bid, blah, 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 blah. That never took place. We went from, okay, let's have an auction to boom, we got an auction. The next thing I know, there's an ad on the website for the auction. The whole middle part that I'm used to after 20 years was missing on this.
10 years
But
ago, we did have a conversation on this. We did agree to auction
I'm
it.
talking
We all
about
did
this
it.
process on
That
this
fell through.
piece now, not what we did 10 years ago, because 10 years ago, we promised to leave it vacant.
I promise
you don't
nobody
know.
nothing.
No, we didn't.
With this process,
Listen,
I-
what
we've done that,
no, hold on a minute, Joe. What we're failing to realize that the abutter came to us not once, not twice, but 3 times, and we declined 3 times for the abutter to purchase this so that it would remain green space. And at that time, we said, no, we're just remaining, we are going to let it sit there
Not
for
very
our
tall.
benefit. Yes, we did.
I remember it differently.
I remember
But in the
very
minutes
differently. I
say-
brought it up, another selectman brought it up, and we were going to look into it. We're going to look into it. We never did. And the offer, the abutter offered was very, very low below the value.
That's
That would have
the
been a
one that we were
special
owed.
inside deal for an abutter. That's
We
what that was
own,
offered.
we own other town property, and I just wish that we were so, a
Graveyards.
lot more exuberant in selling some of that property than we are on this property.
We should.
We should. But I really and truly believe in my heart of hearts that this property should not be sold because it cannot be built and justify the aesthetic value of putting a house on that lot.
You don't know what they're gonna build on that lot. You really just don't know. This is conjecture on your part.
A neighbor could buy it. They offered before. It's only fair way. Nobody likes taking houses away from people or property away. The bank got stiffed out of money. The town taxpayers have not been getting income from the taxes off of that property. And it's only for the abutters. It's a wildlife car in 0.3 acres is a little exaggerating.
You don't live there, so you don't know if it's exaggerating. That's conjecture on your part. Shoo 'em out of your garden.
What do you
How you
think,
getting?
Scott?
Unfortunately, I'm middle of the road on this, but here's where I stand, is that obviously that being able to have it be a tax revenue generating piece of property would be wonderful. If the town was to keep it, my argument would be is that it's time to do some things with some of the property in this town that will increase the value and attraction of the town for others. A small park, nature park, whatever you want to do with it. Just being able to make those friendly spaces that we've talked about, but something that is not just where people are going to pass through, but where people will go after Buffalo Park, et cetera. That we've talked about it since my time on the board is how are we going to keep younger families here? Well, those kind of spaces would do that.
Mhm.
So if we're not going to get it and sell it to have it generate tax revenue, then we need to do something with it, and it can't just sit.
Mhm.
That doesn't necessarily mean that you have to put a huge playground on it, but you get some wildflowers in there, you get some benches in there, there's just some things that you can do that are low dollar cost that are going to develop spaces and create spaces in and around town that are going to become more and more attractive. We've talked about this a number of times, is how do we keep younger families here? Well, these are some of the ways that you can do that. So sorry that I'm not being definitive about it, but I don't know how I would vote. So
People out in the.
In 1 second, we will. Thank you. Is the board, everybody spoken? All right, I'll open it to public. We'll get the mic.
Hey, Tim, the amount of taxes you calculated out on it, was that including the years that the town has owned it?
Yep. If you go, if you
What
look
was the
in,
original amount back when we sold it the first time? The back taxes from when we
the
sold it?
original deeded amount was $3,275.13 on June 25th, 2015. In your binders under Town Administrator Report, you'll see right behind my report, there are two things, one of which is the costs over the years. And then the second item is a page from your minutes of September 13th, 2018, where there were motions to sell the property to the abutter. That's page 3 of those minutes. And there were
Thank you.
2 motions on there.
Okay, sir.
Thank you. Dan Fife. I reside in Franklin. I'm a property owner in Franklin and a property owner in Northfield. My daughter on my right is the abutter on the east side of that property. When she purchased the property, it was appearing in the deed that the two lots were sold as one. After the sale or after the agreement, they reneged and kept that out as a separate lot. Irrelevant to this situation, but at that time, that lot, bare lot, was a well-respected lupus field, lupins. I understand that this is a better on the other side of the property, and she is the one that has tried to purchase it over the years. I don't have a horse in the race, but it seems to me that for the betterment of the town, if they could sell it for what it costs them and do a lot line adjustment where each abutter receives half of the property, that would be a solution to all parties concerned. Thank you.
Vicky Hussman, 9 Winter Street. I do walk in that area, and it had been brought to my attention that it was a lupin area at one point in time. It's quite overgrown right now. But one of my questions was, and I think Catherine answered it, that this was last brought up about 10 years ago. And I was curious to know if any of the abutters that are there now were in fact the same that were there then and had expressed an interest perhaps in purchasing it now and making it an amicable solution for the town, because obviously revenue is important. And so it would be nice if you could kind of settle it, the town wouldn't have to take care of it. The abutters would be responsible. And I think it would make the general people in the area happy.
One of the abutters that are still there.
One is the same.
Yep.
Mhm. Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else? Then we will close it for discussion. Joe?
Tim, can we sell that piece of property without going to auction for the amount owed? The process by law is auction, correct?
No.
Well,
Correct.
it's there's a term, and I can't recall it
Yeah, that we can,
off the top of my head, but as justice may prevail,
Right.
I know is part of the saying. There, I'd have to check with one of our attorneys to give you that answer. I just don't know off the top of my head.
Because I'd be willing to do that. It's not that I want to take it away from anybody or screw the money out from the banks, but I feel responsible to get that $37,000 back for the residents of the town.
I believe in the paperwork, it says something about that. We have the right to accept or deny any offers.
Any and all offers.
Any and all
In the
offers.
contract that you signed in June with the auctioneer, which stated the date of the auction and had the other particulars, the board has the right to reject any and all offers. However, if you were going to want to get an answer on a different method of selling it, maybe the action would be to postpone or cancel the auction for Saturday, get the other answers you need, and then if you can proceed forward with a sale to the abutters, investigate that. And
We still owe the auctioneer for Saturday regardless of when
correct.
we have the auction, right?
Per the agreement with the auctioneer, there's if it does not sell at auction on Saturday, meaning if the board were to cancel it, or if the board declined any and all bids, it would mean a fee of $2,000 and then reimbursement of the advertising costs, which I believe were less than $600.
In a delay.
I would imagine that that would require additional advertising costs. And I would have to talk to the auctioneer to see if
I'd go for a delay if we can work out something, with abutters. They definitely have a big interest in it. If we delayed it for a period of time and work something out, that's my thought.
Well,
And if nothing can work out, then we would proceed with the auction.
per the agreement with the auctioneer, if the auction doesn't take place Saturday, unless he acquiesced, he would be entitled to his fee.
But that would be all
Even in a
worked
delay.
into the, what's owed in the auction fee. It's our expenses.
I think at the rate that the town is losing green space is important. And we have many taxpayer residents that would like it to stay green space.
And this allows us to be able to discuss it afterwards with the abutter,
Yeah, I guess there's options.
and there's many options after this, which I would be in favor of. All right, well, ready to call a question?
Would you repeat the motion, just so that I'm clear, you stated it as a reconsideration?
Cancel the auction is what the motion was.
The original motion was cancel the auction, but I was told that it needed to be a reconsideration by the moderator, so.
But whatever you label the motion, it's the motion. The motion is to cancel the auction, whether it's a reconsideration
Okay.
motion or a motion.
Reconsideration of your previous vote to have the auction, because you
Right.
you voted unanimously. So
It's-
you are now bringing forward a reconsideration of the unanimous, providing the context that you didn't have the auction, which would undo that vote.
Reconsideration of the unanimous vote to cancel the auction,
No, to have the auction.
not to have the auction.
To have the auction.
So the motion is to
All right,
cancel
to
the
have the
auction.
auction.
The motion is to cancel the auction.
You have to start fresh. You have to-
Has to be two motions.
What Helen said.
Okay. I got it.
Making a reconsideration of your motion to have the auction.
Yeah, I've got it.
Yes, so
You got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, that's the motion. Everybody get it? Okay,
Crazy.
and then that allows, so there's a second, and that also allows us at some point in time in the near future to talk with the abutter, if everybody so wishes. Okay, all those in,
Discussion on that?
okay, discussion.
Discussion, even if we did have the auction, which we have to pay for anyway, we could refuse all votes at that time. I mean, all sales or offers, and then also go and negotiate with the neighbors.
This motion,
Just-
tells us not to have the auction.
That's where, yeah, but if,
No,
That
just to
doesn't-
reconsider it.
You know what? We don't follow Robert's Rules of Orders here.
You may not,
We
but
don't.
I do.
Well, but we never have. Are you
Right.
kidding?
I always
We
have.
don't.
I always
All of a
have.
sudden, we're stuck on Robert's Rules of Orders. No matter what you call this motion, what we're going to vote on is to not have an auction on Saturday.
Yes.
No,
Whatever
voting
you
on
wanna label it.
reconsidering. We made a motion to have that auction.
My first motion
It
was to
stands unless you
cancel the
it.
If you're
cancel the
reconsidering
auction
the-
on Saturday. And now
Yeah.
we're so hung up on what the
I
motion
know, it's
is.
crazy.
I made a motion to cancel the auction on Saturday,
And I seconded it.
and the motion was seconded, and then you wanted me to change it to reconsideration. Let's just make
why
it
didn't you
simple.
just do that? We could have been done with this by
All
now.
right,
Thank
let's go back to my original motion, cancel the auction on Saturday.
Okay.
Thank you. That we usually do.
Call the question.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 No, not in favor.
Aye.
3-2, the motion passes.
Cancel the damn
Thank you.
auction. All right, moving right along.
So there is no auction on Saturday, folks. Thank you. Next on our agenda is,
Can I just say one thing?
Can we
here?
Yes.
discuss what we're going to do now?
Let us
So we
know,
don't just sit
Let
here
us
for 10
not-
years again?
as Scott said, drop the ball on this.
We will not.
I don't care if we call it Scott Ruggles Park, but he is right. Do not drop the ball on
That might be a
this.
good idea, though.
Stop, please.
Do not drop the ball on this. Tim, don't let us drop the ball on.
No, in fact, would the board like me to contact the town attorney and see about the next steps? Would you like to do that in terms of any legalities?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, and negotiations.
Let's keep
Right.
this going.
Yep.
Right.
Catch it.
And yes, John, so any further discussion we can take up at a later time in the
Keep it on
agenda.
the agenda.
Right. Because we're 15 minutes behind, and I apologize to Helen Hanks, our moderator, and Kim Souls, our town clerk tax collector. Thank you, all that showed up for the discussion on the,
Where do you want us? Where would you like us?
right here. I'll get you a chair.
Wasn't even on the agenda, so opposing parties could.
Thank you. Nothing was voted.
See how it plays out. They get 37 grand. I'm all set with that.
Yes, please. Thank you very much.
40 grand now because it's gonna cost us 3,000 on Saturday.
Get some, like,
I'm not saying I would agree or disagree with you. I'm informed on the topic.
mode paths, couple of benches.
Yep,
All you need.
absolutely.
It would be a great thing to keep it as a
Not a
free
lot of
space.
expensive maintaining it either.
It would be, well, it would be great.
I think it's an interesting topic. of
Pollinator
conversation.
You sure you have to go?
Pollinator Park, I'll be
It's
around.
very
I'll watch you
interesting.
guys.
If we were at like 55%
Make sure we hear-
woodlands. I would
Okay,
say
we
that
need to
would-
have quiet in the hall, please. Thank you.
The image
Okay, why
cast
am I hearing it?
precinct.
Oh, sorry. Do I, is this on? Oh. You ready?
Yes, we're
Are
ready.
you sure?
Positive.
Okay,
And I'm not
fantastic.
going to reconsider.
Can if you want. You guys do whatever you want. You can do it any way you want. Yeah, not my meeting to run. For the record, Helen Hanks, moderator in the town of Tilton. With me is Kim Souls, our tax collector. And we, and primarily Kim, through her diligence, have been going through the process of understanding the ballot commissions, two approved new tabulators. If you do not know, the AccuVote is very old, and so the state has been hard at work through the ballot commission and Secretary of State's office confirming technology that will meet the muster to do the automated tabulation of our voting. So Kim has handed out the device that we are here to seek your support in procuring. And I just want to add that the Secretary of State's office has also offered grants to help fund the tabulator. I do not know how many years of the grant, but at least the initial amount of startup for the grant. The benefits of this tabulating machine over the other from our perspective is it actually has 3 boxes instead of 2. So it'll separate fully, I'm going to use terms. If I use terms that don't make sense, please let me know. It will separate out hand counts, write-ins, and then fully counted ballots into 3 separate boxes. It's a little bit larger, which is nice. I think we can all, for all of us who are at our elections, which I know the members at the table are, know that in November specifically, I would expect a very solid voter turnout, and the size of that machine will be critical in making sure we keep up with the stride of our voters. In addition to it, just the technology is all upgraded, completely upgraded from the perspective of we don't have to hope we put the roll in the machine right. Kim and I are getting really good at that though. This uses a digital imaging process, so that will be easier. The technology as a whole, it uses a passcode and has a lot more security associated with it, which is also good. It's more high speed. There are just a lot of wonderful benefits, and really hoping for your support, at least through a motion to allow us to work with the jack of all trades named Tim to move forward with procuring this new machine and tapping into the grant funding available to the town through the Secretary of State's office.
So moved.
Is this a 100% grant, or is it 50-50? Do you know what the percentage?
500 from the state.
Oh, it's okay.
So it's
Got it.
approximately 50-50.
Okay, thank you. I'll second that motion.
Where did that money come from, Tim?
the state
We,
of New Hampshire.
Well, the 3,500 I'm aware of, but
yeah, no,
there's another 3,500.
That's fine.
I should be able to find that within the budget, within the admin budget, prior to the end of the year.
Tim was very mindful when he asked what we might need for an updated machine, and we were not able to at that time forecast the amount. So his insightfulness is always helpful.
What is their backup support if there's a problem with the machine?
They actually will be there and provide local support and come physically on the spot.
Nice. It talks about lithium ion and turtle battery sustains up to 4 hours. I suspect those are backups if
Yes,
the power fails.
as a built-in power cord, so we won't have to worry about whether it detaches from the machine, although we will likely tape things to the floor because we know people trip.
I like user friendly.
I love user friendly.
Yeah, with the upcoming elections and
Yeah.
all that,
We really want to be ahead. We don't.
I just noticed there's more and more.
I will let you know, we are examining the purposes of poll books, but we're not ready to make a recommendation there yet. We just really want to move forward on the tabulation machine.
So a motion's been made and seconded, so we will call the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Go forward and procure.
Wonderful. And if you need any help with Ruggles Park, I'll be happy to join in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Renamed it Pollinator Park. We want pollinator.
Yeah. Hey, Kim, wanna stay back for a minute? Tell Helen to stay back for a second.
My finger to the bone.
Helen. No, just stick.
It tingles.
Hey, simmer down.
Okay. Okay, we already went over the deeded property, and I'm going to hijack Selectmen's reports just for a second. Usually I take the Hine Road. I am going to jump ship. We have a very important announcement. We've been making this announcement all month, but it's become a reality. Our dear friend Scott's last day is today. He will be sorely missed. He's been a rock, and as a example tonight, he's been a balance in our board. So he has been just an asset to our town in many ways throughout his history of being on at Tilton School and throughout our community, but more so as his last 3.5 years of being on the select board, and he will be sorely missed. So kudos, and I just want to recognize you, Scott, for all the things that you have done for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's get going. I have stuff to pack. So.
Oh no, we just have a little gift
Oh,
for you. Before you go, we have just a little something from the board.
Thank you.
Oh, it looks like refreshments.
We just have
We won't.
a little something from the board.
Yep.
Excellent.
And there's
Thank you.
kisses from all of us.
Thank you.
I'm sure you didn't want us to really kiss you, but
I'm sure that'll go over well on the audio. So.
yeah, come on up and have something if you want. Grab a cookie. Okay. Just remember, it's on video.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thanks.
Oh, yeah. I'll do my best.
Nobody wants cookies from there? No, none? No?
Got COVID last night.
That's fine. I'll use it as dinner for my kids the next couple nights. So what we'll do.
Cookie tasting.
'Cause everything's packed
Is
away.
that when you
so.
got it?
Right.
That is, I remember. I did.
Must have been
Berkeley always
Joe's.
takes
Because
two.
it couldn't have been
Cookie
mine.
sandwich.
Oh, yeah.
The Berkeley, I want a cookie sandwich.
Oh, that's right.
Everybody did. That was the cookie tasting. Yeah, it's all right. No, who made these cookies?
Amy.
I won't be bad.
There's no need to be bad.
Joe didn't make them.
We'll do some.
No,
gravy.
I didn't make them. They look just fine.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll give my rating after we're done.
So as we work along towards the departure of Scott, we need to just talk about, I did get a letter of interest for the position, so we want to just, do we want to just talk about how we want to do that next week, or do you want to talk about it next week? I did get in the mail to the chairman a letter of interest.
We should hold that until we've gone through the process of,
The
and
last
we
time,
we can leave it vacant until March, or we can appoint somebody who would serve until March.
Okay,
the last time we had an open call and, cause I was part of that and became selectman again, based on that.
correct.
What's an open call?
Everybody
Every-
got to come and
vacant.
we had a candidates night.
Vacant.
I think we should have.
So on the procedure, in Catherine's right, we can make a choice not to fill it, or we can make a choice to fill it and have people write in a letter of interest, or, but you want to,
I think we should have them write a letter of interest.
okay. And have a deadline?
Sure. Give them a month, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I don't know.
Okay. 3 weeks?
Month? Okay. Letter of interest?
Uh,
We meet what, twice a month?
You're
Well,
meeting on the 1st and.
So August 15th, maybe? August 15th would be our meeting, right? It's the 1st and the 3rd?
Yep.
Or I don't know if we're meeting the 29th or not. That's Labor Day weekend.
So the 15th?
Right.
Okay.
And,
Put something on the website and out on Facebook too.
right. So one last thing that I have, and that's Fred Caruso asked me to solidify Halloween so that they can start their preparations in the books, and so that they can make sure that they plan. We had talked about October 26th a few weeks ago with the chief. He was fine with that. October 26th is on a Saturday, and Halloween is actually on a Thursday. So it's either October 26th or November 2nd. So that's why we chose October 26th. Everybody okay with that?
Till October.
Yeah.
Kids will be happy with either day.
All right. So make a motion that we have Halloween on October 26th officially.
Well, the Main Street event, right?
The Main Street event, yes. When the kids can go out on the street on the Halloween. Second. I know.
Even back to school, we're talking about
Right.
Halloween.
Do we have a second?
I second it.
Sorry. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right. I'm finished. Thank you. So we'll continue on. Catherine.
Just a couple of FYIs that the park commissioners have been dealing with a lot of vandalism at Riverfront Park in the bathroom.
Mm.
And last night I got a call from Bob Hardy. The water was flowing out of one of the bathrooms. Somebody had gone in there and they broke a pipe and they got it shut off. I presume the water is still shut off.
It is.
We have discussed, because this has been taking place all summer, various things to do, close the bathrooms, just not have bathrooms, close them, get a porta potty, just a lot of things. So I'm sure we'll be talking about that at our next meeting. Superior fence. No response.
Hmm.
None. Kind of at a loss as to how to proceed. Public Works is going to take care of this Pocket Park on our own. Which, thank you,
Tomorrow.
thank you.
Yep.
Big kudos to them for doing that. But been talking to Tim about Superior Dust Pocket, and I mean Civil War. I'm not sure where to go.
Did you already pick out a style of fence?
We were going to go. The Board of Selectmen voted for the chain link. It was the least expensive option.
Is there any fencing in the south further down?
I talked to Tim briefly about that when I was coming in about, I mean, typically we try to stay local with our
Right.
bids and work. So if the selectmen don't have objection, I think we should branch out.
Yeah, I think
So-
so too.
One of the things is, I know Lowe's and Home Depot, they have, if you purchase or whatever through them, you get the licensed contractor and free bids.
Really?
Yep.
I didn't know that.
The
They install it, installation available.
What do you do? Just call them up, say, I've got a fence?
Yeah, and the guys come out in 24 hours, give you a bid and a fence, but it's through Lowe's.
Okay.
Yeah, they hire Superior Fence.
Yeah.
it's a really problematic area. If you walk it, but we can certainly try that. We've called a lot of fence companies. Some have come and looked and declined because of it, because there's unless you move the fence into the property by a significant amount, you're dealing with roots of huge trees. Either the trees have to come out and all the shrubbery. There's a marker stone noting the bandstand that was there that's covered by vegetation, and there's a number of things that are up there, but there's a giant stump. It's not as easy as one might think. So there's a lot of considerations with that property, but and I think that's one of the reasons why we haven't had any takers apart from Superior.
But I heard a brilliant suggestion earlier this evening that we use foliage.
I was going to say, why not do a hedgerow?
Yeah.
Hedgerow.
Yep.
Do a
That
hedgerow.
was
That's
paid
what
for
it needs.
our
Then it keeps it
finance
consistent,
director.
and then all it is the trimming and clipping each
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
So if there's no objection to the Board of Selectmen, I would like to talk to Public Works Director about that and have a look at it. And
And just keep
So if
that
you-
trim.
as one possibility, I am going to follow through on John's suggestion.
If you
with
have
Lowe's and Home
the
Depot.
stumps and a marker, how are you going to plant the hedge where the stump is?
Well, no, so
There'll be an opening.
so
where
there
Find the stump.
there are areas that could be planted where people are passing through now, and with proper plants, I really think that that's the way to go. You can close off the open parts more easily, and then they're not going to be able to pass through that direction. They'll have to go around and walk in through the gate along the road. And vegetation is going to be a lot less expensive. And if you'd have to walk it to see the issues, there are numerous issues
I saw it, yeah.
along there.
Because typically when they put a fence, they have the posts in, and then if there's a tree, they put a post next to the tree and a post there. So it's,
Yeah.
It would be nice if they could, but
just, hedges and that, it takes a while for them to grow.
But wasn't there an issue with,
And they get killed by salt and stuff too.
John, wasn't there an issue with one of the fences growing in the tree, that they had to,
Yes,
Mhm.
there's
There
a
is.
couple of areas where the trees have grown around the existing fence.
right?
So that would even make Tim's suggestion even better, because we would leave the existing fence and plant the hedgerow in the spaces between and around it where it's necessary to block it off.
Oh, I see.
Chain
So
link
you would
fence, 5 feet.
leave, okay,
Well, that's why I'd like to talk to the Public Works Director.
I get it. So you'd leave the existing fence, and then you'd have a hedge, and then
Yep.
just fill in the spaces.
Right.
That's a possibility, but like I said, again, I'd like to talk to Public Works Director
Huh, yeah, that might work.
and go forward with
Whatever.
that.
Yep,
Um,
could work.
and a question for Tim is, did Public Works, have they started on the inventory of the cemeteries, work that needs to be done?
I did ask them for a listing,
Okay.
and
I'm
Pretty-
sure they have them.
they, for the most part, they're working on a list, but basically outside of the landscaping maintenance, all they do is occasionally they'll replace boards in the fences.
Yep.
That's about it. And paint.
Okay, thank you. I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, John?
Not much. Went on the trail and cut a tree that had fallen. Thanks, Abe. Got done quick. And actually, it looked pretty clean. Picked up a couple cups, and that looked pretty clean on the trail. Good shape. I didn't see any what do they call them, nefarious characters out there or anything. It's nice. It's nice. Good, nice views and good place to recreate.
Nice.
I know the Conservation Commission is looking to having, work on the Salmon Run area for having that brush cut back again, so that you can see the river again. It's due again. And so that looks like that's probably going to be getting done soon. One of the concerns I have about this and the neighbors showing up is we didn't have it on the agenda. And all these stuff was all set up and all ready for us, all the information. But I get blindsided. We could have had, if we had a public hearing, we could have had people who say that they disagree with it. I'm looking at the petition on this and I see some addresses, like 5 people signed it. Were they 12-year-olds or 10s? I don't know. But why would we go and have something that involves taxes for the whole town and selling the property and have what I consider a private public hearing? So don't have to say anything. I just disagree with that. If we do this again, let's put it on the agenda, because this wasn't just show up tonight. That's it.
How did we get the list of names?
Cindy Hobart brought it in tonight just before the meeting.
Okay.
I ran into the office to make a copy.
And
I think
this-
Joe was here when she brought it. I brought that in.
And Tim, all the information, did you know about this before tonight?
Well, I had prepared the amount that was due, and there was a discussion by 2 of the selectmen in my office yesterday that there was some concern about moving forward. So I looked up the minutes and then just found out from the auctioneer what happens if, just so that I'd be prepared.
Well, it's supposed to be all in on these things, not just individuals. That's it.
Scott?
So, 2 things. I'm glad the chief is here. Traffic lights. The traffic lights at Lowe's, when you're coming from the west, the arrow is funky. Yeah, so that's the least of my worries on the traffic lights. Tanger Outlets, BJ's intersection, east-west. Timing is way off. It's
3
so.
cars go through and
No,
that's it.
yeah, I travel it morning and evening, so it's now going at 7 seconds east-west and stopping. The other day it went 7 seconds. It was 5 seconds for the other side and then back to 7 seconds for that side. So It's especially with the traffic the way it is right now in the heat of the summer season. It would be good if the state could take a look at that.
I'll call him tomorrow.
Yeah, I really worry about that Tanger Outlets and BJ's intersection because you're going to get people zipping left and coming through, and
Can't even
the
put your
timing
foot
is.
on the gas
I
for
just
that.
came through it tonight. It's literally 7 seconds now. So
You can barely put your foot on the gas in
Yeah,
7
sometimes
seconds.
I know,
only two
no.
cars go through.
Yeah.
Right.
If you're not quick, you're gonna get stuck.
Yeah.
Yep.
Texting and
Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
those are the two traffic light things that I've caught traveling Route 3 frequently.
Right.
And so I was going to save this to the end, but I'll just do it now. Thank you all. Thank you all for the last 3.5 years. It has been, and that by all I mean all current employees, the current board of selectmen, the committees I've been on, the past employees, town administrators, et cetera. It's been an education. You can have an education in politics, et cetera, as I did through college and obviously my teaching, et cetera. But when you get into town politics, it's a very, very different creature. It is people politics. It is personal politics. It is large issue politics. Small issue politics. So it's just been fantastic to be able to learn from everyone here in this room. Those who are not in this room, those who are not with the town anymore, those who are with the town. I can't thank people enough for embracing me. I was surprised to get elected the first time. I was a little bit surprised to get elected the second time. But it's just been wonderful. Coming up on my 24th year in the town. For those who do not know, this is not me stepping away from the board and staying in town. I'm not even staying in state. I'm not even staying in New England. So there has just been a very good and positive change in the life for myself and my family. So I am moving out of state, and that has obviously caused me to have to step down from the board. But I appreciate every single person who I've interacted with. It's just been wonderful. I will miss the place. It wasn't an easy decision to move, but it is the right decision overall for myself and my family. Thank you to everyone. That means we'll be able to have Joe just do the adjournment today like we normally do, because I'm not doing that. So. But a sincere thanks to the citizens, to everyone else. My one last plug is, while I'm not a spring chicken, and I know the other folks here aren't spring chickens too, I really do hope that the younger generation in town starts to step in and get more involved. Don't just fly out there on social media and make your comments, etc. It really truly is a wonderful way to get involved if you're worried about your tax rates in your town and the things that are going on. This is a small town, but as everyone knows, there's a lot of big town and big city here. We have a throughway to east-west in New Hampshire and north-south. You have a retail area that rivals that of cities that are 15 times the size of Tilton. There's just a wonderful fabric of a great New England town here with the modern amenities that many towns wish they had. So I hope that the future generations, this current board, et cetera, can continue to foster that and have a town that will grow, but also maintain the charm that it has of that small country town feel where you really know a lot of people who are around. So thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Joe, do you think that you can hold on until after the public hearing on sidewalks?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right.
Look, yeah, it's a cookie call.
You know where it is in our books here?
The sidewalk policy?
Yes.
I got it. For
It's under
review.
It's under the for review section.
Okay. Okay, we will open up the public hearing for the Selectmen's policy pertaining to tables, chairs, and benches or other obstructions on Main Street sidewalk. The purpose of this policy is to promote the safe flow of pedestrian traffic on Main Street sidewalk. This was passed out from railroad to every business and apartments. Would you like me to read this aloud for the public that's listening tonight?
Please.
Okay. The policy, it is the policy of the Tilton Board of Selectmen that merchants, business people, and residents who wish to place tables, chairs, or benches, by the way, in the front row here, there's copies if anybody wants one, right up here. It is the policy of the Tilton Board of Selectmen that merchants, business people, and residents who wish to place tables, chairs, or benches on the Main Street sidewalk shall maintain no less than 3 feet from any obstructions. The determination that an object or objects has been placed on the public sidewalk in a manner that restricts a continuous and safe passage for pedestrians to less than 36 inches shall be made by the code enforcement, public works management personnel, and/or police officer as is appropriate. It shall be unlawful for any person, organization, or corporation to put, place, or leave any object upon Tilton's public sidewalks between November 15th and the following April 15th during the snow removal process. Any obstruction object on said sidewalk may be removed by the town of Tilton personnel without prior notice to the owner, organization, or corporation. Said associated costs for removal and disposal shall be at the expense of the person, organization, or corporation to be determined by the town of Tilton. No construction or use of machinery on sidewalks and use of electrical cords across the sidewalk is prohibited unless authorized by the Board of Selectmen. No riding bicycles, skateboards, scooters, or motorized bicycles on sidewalks at any time. Any flags hanging from the building, the bottom edge shall be no less than 6 feet from the sidewalk. Exceptions to this policy are only allowed during special town-sponsored events such as Old Home Day. Effective date will be tonight if the board approves, July 25th, 2024. This policy supersedes the prior policy adopted on December 30th, 2004. We're going to open this for discussion. Anybody online or in the public seated before us? Oh, hold on a second here. Make sure you state your name and hold it like this.
Lynn Makepeace, and I'm associated with Tilton Village Thrift and Antiques. And my question is about the flags, that they have to be 6 feet high from the lower corner. Yet there is a 3-foot pathway that you're talking about with the obstruction. And since our flags come out from the building, they're nowhere near 3 feet out. There's still that 3 feet access path. So honestly, oh, that's all right. Honestly, if we have to move the flag up, because right now the lowest section of it is probably 4 feet above the sidewalk. And if we have to move it up, I literally am going to have to take a step ladder outside if I want to put the flag up, because it will be up super high. So it's not an obstruction. And so I do have a question about that.
Didn't the earlier ordinance require those flags to be the bottom 6 feet from the sidewalk? This isn't new. The 2004 ordinance, I believe, required those flags to be the bottom 6 feet from the sidewalk, because we had an issue.
Right, with
The reason we changed it, we had an issue because, people walking down the sidewalk or walking into flags.
Right, and also people in the wheelchairs, some of them had them down so low that they would just, they
Walk
couldn't,
in, yeah.
walking into the flags.
Right, strolling into them, yeah.
And that's why they have it on the 6 feet, because they can't, when they're walking down, even though, how far away from the building is it?
It goes up at an angle. We measured it. It's,
Probably about
if you
4
pull
feet,
it
5
out,
feet.
if you actually pull it out straight, it's probably going to be 4 feet. There's still going to be about a 4 foot access. And the flag doesn't extend out past the bench that's out there.
The problem occurs is when we have an event, there's a lot of people
Right.
downtown, you know, you've got multiple people passing, then you're running into flags.
I wouldn't have questioned it except that it does say the 36 inches, the 3 feet, and it certainly doesn't obstruct that 3 foot passage. That's the only reason that I'm questioning that.
So if you put a table under it, you wouldn't have that. Someone would have to walk around the table and it wouldn't obstruct the flag.
Exactly.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
But then November to April, you would have that issue.
That
You'd have to have it 6 feet.
okay.
Right. Right. We'll think about that.
Okay.
All right. Anybody else?
Hello, my name is Deborah Newman. I'm the current owner of Tay-Tay's Crystals. I do have, I wonder if you would consider a friendly amendment when it talks about an obstruction, where it says that you could remove something that was left overnight without prior notice, and that the disposal cost would go back to the person who owns it. And the only issue that I have is I have one of those little like A-frame signs, and I think once I forgot to bring it in, which means it would have been out overnight. And I'm just not comfortable with you being able to remove and dispose. Couldn't you give the owner of the store or organization 24 hours to pick up said item so they don't incur the cost of purchasing a new one?
Absolutely, of course. Nothing happens that fast in this town. Come on, everybody knows. It might get picked up first thing in the morning, but not if Public Works is at the other end of town. You know what I mean? And there's no way they're going to race down to Concord or whatever to throw this thing in the trash down there or anywhere else. They'll hold on to it. And in theory, you'd get a warning the first time, I would think.
It doesn't say that you would get a
No,
warning.
it doesn't say that. So that for the egregious offenders, fact is, when it's time to go, it's time to go. But I think the chief of police is sitting right here in the audience, and I can't speak for him, but it's my impression that the police department and the town in general is willing to work with people. But if you have no rules and regulation, it becomes the Wild West. It really does. Everybody does whatever they want, and next thing you know, the wheelchairs are out in the street trying to get around the obstructions, which might sound like an exaggeration, but when you get to where those dirt places are, where the trees used to be, and you have like tables or whatever, and maybe a nice little flag, all of a sudden it gets to be pretty narrow in there. You know, so we're just trying to keep the sidewalks passable for everyone, not penalize the business owners.
Yeah, I'm just saying that I would like a friendly amendment because I can tell you that if I forget to bring my A-frame sign in and it's gone in the morning, I'm not going to be a happy resident of this town. There's a significant amount of expense to me and my new business. So if it's in writing, I would like to also put in writing that we have the opportunity to retrieve that object within 24 hours.
I think that that's a
Yeah.
good
It could be
addition.
brought to the public works.
Yeah.
And that's what we do with political signs. and
Yeah,
that.
we do that with political signs and
They're wrong
whatever,
place.
benches, chairs that you see down there. Sometimes they have a chair or a sofa, goes to Public Works, but it doesn't get immediately thrown out. There's an opportunity to come back and get your property back.
Right. Yeah, this is my first time, so I just wanted to make sure that
We'll be gentle.
that I let you know that I'm not going to be happy if you steal my sign.
I wouldn't blame you.
Anyone else? All right,
Hmm.
you need to.
My name is Adam Jenna, co-owner of one of the other thrift stores in town, Colony Hits. I was curious about when you say removing objects on the sidewalk. Is it okay to fold like the tables down and lean them up against the building?
Mm-mm.
All right, so it has to be brought in completely off. That's really really the only question I had. Now, so is you're allowed to put a table up so long as it's 3 feet from the building? Or
You
does
have
that have
to-
to maintain a 36-inch clearance
36
still?
inches path down that sidewalk so that people in a wheelchair and a person walking along could go by each other.
Right. Now, is that measured to like the end of the pavement or the curb or the granite curb?
The curb.
Well,
It depends.
it depends because as
Yeah.
Joe said, where the trees used to be,
Right.
it's all dirt. So
And those are going to be lamp posts ultimately.
Yeah.
He's on the other side of the next to
The south side.
Casamigos, and it's a very narrow
right, but the
sidewalk
universal is it would be there
30
has to be a 36-inch path,
path. Correct.
Usable path, technically.
usable path.
Usable
So
path.
whether it's from curb to building or 36 inches or
Correct.
park out or
Right.
whatever, it's 36 inches.
Right.
And that's a state and or federal.
It's federal, it's ADA,
Federal.
it's ADA compliance.
There you go.
Is there anybody online that would like to say something?
Chuck Mitchell's hand is up.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Okay, Chuck.
Yeah, Chuck Mitchell, Tilton. I want to wish Scott well in his future endeavors. With regard to that 36 inches, does that generally would mean then chairs and tables and things probably could not be put there opposite some of those areas where trees used to be in order to be able to allow at least 36 inches of paved surface? That's a question.
That
I don't object to Dip say anything.
there is quite a bit on the side where the trees were, where the stores are on Tay-Tay's and Diana's and Rare on Main Street. There's plenty of room with the 36 inches to have a small table and chairs, but not a large table and chairs.
Okay, it also just concerned me a little bit that if you've got chairs and benches and whatever that people put out there, including recliners, which I've seen, if they're within 36 inches, but then if somebody's sitting back there and their feet and legs are kicking out, could restrict conceivably the 36-inch space. That's all. Thank you.
Yes, that restricts it a lot. It just blocks them, not restricts them. It just completely blocks it. Okay.
The only thing I just noticed, it doesn't say from where to where. Is this all the way up to Lockmere or?
Mm-mm. The other one didn't
to
say it
Main
either.
Street, right?
It just says Main Street sidewalk on the up at the
Under
top.
policy
It's a policy
Yeah.
pertaining to Main Street.
I mean,
and under purpose.
the Main Street goes down High School and everything.
No, Main.
It's Main
Yeah,
Street.
that's
Yeah.
West Main.
It's
I don't know
sidewalk.
where it switches, but that's west.
Yeah, you get west and east. I think isn't it sidewalk to sidewalk?
I don't know.
And
We
after,
should,
so after the Park
Railroad to
Street
railroad.
intersection, it becomes West Main.
Are we going to park the
Yep,
After Cumbres, it becomes East Main.
Yeah, there you go.
right.
So you keep it the park to park idea that we have, right? Riverfront to Island.
I mean, should probably put that in there. Clarification.
What do you want to put in?
Be more descriptive as to,
Definition of what Main Street is.
if you look up my address, some places say Main Street, some say East Main Street.
I think
Some
officially
say
it's East Main Street
But
because the police station was East Main Street. But yeah, it would be more
Keep it-
clarified if we
yeah.
had a definition of where Main Street.
So a
Yes.
parentheses that says west, including West Main
I
and
think the
East
chief
Main.
has an answer for us.
The 911 map is Cumberland Farms, train tracks. It's Main Street. So actually you can call it Mechanic Street, would be Main Street, all the way to Chestnut Street.
Basically park to park.
Park to park.
We just add that little clarification, so.
So just, you
Pretty
want me to,
obvious.
where it says Main Street sidewalks, you want me to put parentheses park to park?
Yes.
Yeah.
It covers that, I think.
Okay.
Well, I'd put Island Park to Riverfront Park, not just
Okay.
Park to Park.
Hmm.
Because we have Salmon Run down there.
Okay, do you want to include,
Under A,
under A,
we could
store
put some
owners
language that says
retrieve
items will be held for 24 hours before disposal.
items?
I'm just suggesting
Mhm.
somebody wants to improve on it, please
At-
do.
At the.
Retrieve
Public Works
within, retrieve within 24 hours,
Business hours.
24 business.
They
hours.
pick it up on Saturday. That means that in theory, they could dispose of it Sunday. In theory. That's not going to happen either, but
We'll hold it till the next business week.
24 business hours.
That would be three business days.
there you go.
What?
3 business days. That's what that equates to.
Mhm.
Be 24 hours, right?
Yeah.
Oh, if it's on the weekend, it's.
Well, they're saying 24 business hours. I'm saying it's just
Oh,
normally
oh,
when you read
Some
that.
businesses are open on Sunday and some businesses are open on Saturday.
Correct. But town hall, DPW's not.
That's right.
Right.
So if
So
we
you
just put
could just put
business hours,
or Monday through Friday business hours at DPW.
Say that again?
So the DPW Monday through Friday business hours, that's, because then you've covered it, because
that is,
when they're not open, you can't pick it up, obviously, but. I'm going to throw a sidewalk question wrench into the works, because we have sidewalk that extends past here. We have businesses along those sidewalks. So if we're not going to regulate that, is that fair to our Main Street businesses? Because let's say, using one, not pointing fingers, let's say that Papa Gino's decides to stick a flag out there that's hanging down and it's, 6 feet, it's less than 6 feet over that sidewalk, where we have people who use utility scooters and, stuff like that. That's the only thing that, because we've got businesses that extend up
I
that
think
side
our
of the street.
signage does include flags in our signage ordinance.
So I'm just asking the question because we've got,
That would address that.
yeah, because when you extend up the side, past where we've got Cumberland Farms, you've got businesses that go all the way up to where Walmart is and a sidewalk.
Well, and you've got sidewalk in Lockmere and sidewalk in Winnisquam.
Mhm.
That's a good point.
Yeah, but I've
It's under our
lived up
sign.
in that end for
Did you look
20
up?
years and never saw anything that would.
No, it's because they don't really go anywhere. They're
No.
short.
Probably know the sign ordinance. Do you know anything about
But
sign ordinance?
just don't want to limit space up there.
That's a good, that's an interesting point.
Yeah.
I'm
I think there's
learning a
something-
great
just
deal
something
about
to-
sign
Something,
ordinances.
just something to consider.
It's outside of town, then we should make sure that includes obstructing things.
Just because, I mean, those sidewalks obviously have to be passable in terms of space, so.
So all
May-
you have to do is put all town sidewalks.
Pat, may I ask a question regarding the retrieval? So if the items are available for retrieval Monday through Friday during normal business hours, at what point are they disposed of if they're not picked up?
48, 24 hours. Have to pick up? 48 hours?
Sure. Give people plenty of time
Gives them
to,
2 days.
to go and pick it up. Or they could call Public Works and say, well, I can't be there until Monday, but
Yeah, they're
You
gonna
know.
hold it.
nobody wants their stuff.
Uh-uh.
Really. Don't want to have to pay to throw it away either. There is one thing that, under number 3, exceptions, I think it might be a good idea to stick something in there, say, or by special permit issued by the Board of Selectmen.
So, sounds good, but how does the person who's cleaning up the stuff know who got the permits? Every time we get permit, we issue that to the,
What kind of permit would we,
Exceptions to the policy are only allowed during special town-sponsored events, i.e. it asked Old Home Day, or by special permit issued by the Board of Selectmen.
but what kind of special
I
permit? are
can't
you thinking?
imagine, but that gives us the option of issuing one if a good reason came along.
and that might come up, but when the public works guys go out to clean up in the morning, how do they know which one has permit or not?
Nobody say anything about a permit to allow stuff to stay out on the sidewalk. Exceptions to the policy could be granted by special permit if the Board of Selectmen thought there was a good enough reason. That's not about picking up stuff left on the sidewalk.
The thing is, how do you identify what has a special permit and what doesn't? And if they
I
pick
can't
something up,
even imagine issuing a special permit, John, but if we did, we could send a copy of that to Public Works. If it were to come up. Just a thought.
Anybody? Everybody want that?
Don't care, no.
I'm thinking about
I'm
the
indifferent.
language of it.
We'd have to identify, we'd have to create a special permit.
Well,
What's the-
it would just be a
what's the
vote of the
purpose?
Board of
We'd have to
Selectmen and then
create a
vote.
permit.
A vote
Yeah,
of the
I'll be
Board of
honest, what's the
Selectmen.
purpose?
it'd be in the minutes.
Or just no, because quite frankly, the Board of Selectmen can issue special dispensation as necessary as part of their authority.
So what type of things?
Just about anything, John.
Well, when we used to have Summer Fair, wasn't that sponsored by Main Street, not the town?
That wasn't the town.
That wasn't the town. So that would have been issued.
Right.
If we had this in place, the Board of Selectmen would have voted yay or nay.
Yay, they
Correct.
could have.
Have an
votes
exception to
and what
this.
have you, as a for instance.
So then just put down during town-sponsored events or
Authorized.
authorized by the selectmen.
There you go.
There you go.
would work.
Just gives
And you
us
don't really
the
need a
option.
permit, we can just authorize and. But yeah,
It's going to be cold by the time we get this approved.
oh, do it once, do it right.
Okay. All right. Uh, You want to address the flags?
No, we had specific issues with those flags, as we stated, with especially people in wheelchair, trying to go through there and having flags dangle in their face.
Hmm.
I mean, 6 feet. I mean, my husband was 6'7", so he still would have hit the flag, but people in wheelchairs should not be obstructed by a flag.
Right. And even walking, it doesn't matter. If you walk side by side with a friend down Main Street, you have to duck or move
Right.
or whatever.
I'm gonna mess up my hair. Joe?
I have the same issue.
Well, they
All
can
right.
often be wet and
All right, that's a start. Anybody else have anything to say?
I just use this
Yeah,
mic.
go ahead.
This might not be the right time to bring it up, but since we're talking about Main Street and some of the issues we have, there's a couple of things that we should probably think about as a town, a community, and certainly a business owner. Can you kick that for me? There's two issues that are really dangerous when you're on Main Street. One of them is the speed limit. I don't know if anybody has noticed. I don't know what the speed limit is. I'm guessing it's 25 miles an hour. But if you step off that curb, it's pretty easy for you to be dead quickly if you're not careful. That's one of the main issues.
Chief of police is sitting right there.
Why I took this opportunity to have this discussion. Right. And the other issue is backing. I know we all go to the diner, and backing out is a life or death situation. And I don't know that there's any easy answers to that question. I have a little car, kind of. Now, if you have a big full-size truck parked next to you, by the time you get far enough back to see whether oncoming traffic is coming, my car is already screaming because the people that are going in the other direction, my car thinks I'm going to hit them. But my real problem is by the time I get past the end of that truck and start to turn, people are going 35 miles an hour. We really, as a safety for citizens, I mean, I've seen since I've lived here, which is 2018, we had somebody die in front of the pizza place. We just had a motorcycle accident this weekend in front of the Big Apple. I live on School Street. When you get to the bottom of my street, if you take a right, taking a left to go over to exit 19 is a life or death situation. We used to be able to go down Academy Street, but you can't do that anymore and just take a left and cut across with the light that would keep you alive. And the other thing is if you go straight across and you have to kind of hang a quick left and a right to go towards the side of the big lake, it's just treacherous. I think we need to come up with a few solutions that are going to keep people from getting crashed, killed, or even just scared to death. Thank you.
Thank you.
good points.
Yep, very good points. Been there.
The rotor's not, the rotor you can't have. He said rotary again.
Punch it for me, will you please? I can't reach.
I'm not gonna do that.
Come on, you're leaving. Come on.
After the meeting.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Artwork.
The artwork.
All right. All right. With everybody satisfied with what we've got, we'll close the public hearing on the Selectmen's policy on Main Street sidewalks.
We should try to petition the state to lower that speed limit at least another 5 miles per hour.
Okay? Everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
It's what, at 25?
It's
25?
And people go about 35?
Oh, at least.
Yeah, it starts at, it's the 25 sign is right down here, just
Yep.
before you get to Onions. Yep.
So, we could put our magic sign out there and record the speed of cars going by through Main Street. And then maybe petition the state to drop it another 5 miles per hour. I mean, it took us 10 years to get them to
Oh, change it down to that.
Yeah.
At least 10.
But, there's new people. So.
All right. I agree with you. That's a good thought. Okay.
More active
Thank you all for your input.
restaurants.
We'll continue on with the meeting. Joe, do you have anything for us?
I do. I attended the yearly meeting of the cooperative, which is the solid waste resource,
Pull your mic up in front of you. Thanks.
which is the solid waste resource recovery cooperative down in Concord. That's the incinerator down in Bow and ash landfill. And our main priority is the ash landfill down in Franklin. It has 100-year maintenance costs associated with it, 30-year maintenance costs associated with it. We have almost $3 million to deal with those associated costs that we have generated according to the tonnage that was accrued during the course of the regular co-op. But now we're in two separate co-ops. Okay, let me start over here. They held the I can't think of the right word, elected a slate of officers and committee members, and Tilton, me, is still on the operating committee, like the executive board of the co-op. We do the budget. We come up with plans and talk to lawyers as needed and what have you, and make recommendations to the joint board. Now, we had a joint board meeting as well. The amount proposed is $89,000. That is for generator and chemical pumps, leachate hauling, host fee, which is $8,000 to Franklin, which is, although not technically a payment in lieu of taxes, it's a payment in lieu of taxes. That's how it was originally set up all those years ago, and we've been paying it. Now, we had a contract with the city of Franklin that had escalating host fees and what have you. It's run out. The contract is run out. We are under no obligation to pay the city of Franklin anything legally. And yet we keep appropriating the $8,000 because that section of Franklin is now pretty much null and void for the rest of the time. And nothing can be built there. And the surrounding area, due to the leachate issue, which all the stuff that we're doing is working fine. The test for PFAS and for the sewage treatment plant, I'll come back clean. Our stuff is good, but we have by law to keep on top of it and test and test and test. We have a part-time guy who is looking to be replaced. He wants to get out like by the end of the year. So if anybody out there in television land or computer land knows of somebody who wants to work 8 hours a week at kind of maintaining, overlooking the facility, the potential is there. And we have a website. You can go to the website and they have ways to apply there. The property. Let me get the proper paperwork. The property has been going since 2020. They have paid us approximately $220,000 to hold the property on a $1.5 million asking price. They wanted it's been assigned. This has been assigned to a separate company from the one that purchased the property originally. They ran out of money, ran out of time, I don't know. But the joint board and the operating committee both voted to extend the contract for 6 months till the end of 2024. In that time, we're going to be getting the property appraised to see if it makes any sense for us to put it back out on the market if it's worth $2 million now. A lot of these hurdles have been jumped through. You know what I mean? And maybe to a new guy that's attractive. I don't know. But in any case, we'll keep collecting $12,000 a month. We have a new formula for that $12,000. $8,000 goes toward the cost of the property, and $4,000 goes for interest. So it's principal and interest. How that works out for us is they're not paying down the principal as quickly. Right now they've got $220,000, but now the $4,000 of their payment will be going to the co-op, and it's just our money, and it doesn't go toward the principal. They would still have to come up with the balance. $4,000 is $4,000. And unless you have questions, that's the overall. I mean, I could go through it line by line and explain each line, but that's the gist of it. We're going to continue to get $12,000 for the next 6 months, and then may or may not put the property out to bid once again, or they'll buy it and pay the 1.5 million, and the money will be dispersed to the towns according to the tonnages accrued during the life of the operating life of the ash landfill.
Can we use that money for anything?
It's just our money.
Okay.
Once we get it back, it goes in the general fund or whatever, but at that point it becomes money off the following year's taxes. It becomes any number of different things. But it would go back, it would just be revenue and the general fund.
So that agreement that they made was reassignable?
Mhm.
What happened? So they could reassign it to somebody?
Yeah,
else
yeah,
and pass it
and
on?
did. And did.
And so it's still reassignable
It's still reassignable.
until,
December 31st, 2024.
yeah.
Hmm.
You know, come up with a new one.
If the property is all of a sudden worth $2.5 million, it might be time to go out to bid again. But in any case, we keep the $200,000 because that's the premium that they're paying for us to hold the land for them. I'm guessing they're going to want to pull the trigger.
I think so. Where does that leave us?
I don't know how much we get back.
I mean, the purpose of that land.
It was originally for the site of a recycling center, but that got voted down by the members of the co-op. That even precipitated Concord to withdraw. And
That was a while ago.
we've had that property as long as I've been on the board.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we were going to build a recycle center. You know, in retrospect, it may or may not be a good thing that we didn't. Recycling,
Was good
there's
for a
no
while.
market for recycling at all right now. China's not buying it. Nobody else.
Dump it in the ocean or burn it.
We pay a premium to recycle it, though. We paid money.
Yeah.
So, in any case, it'll be coming up again soon.
Good.
And that's where we're at. Oh, we also discussed the hauler tipping fees and the discrepancy. I don't know if everybody sitting here is aware of it, but
Yeah.
for those who aren't, Waste Management is going around in some places and offering a lower tipping fee than the co-op is getting at the incinerator. And we avoided that because our flow ordinance very specifically says that it has to go through the town of Tilton. But some places don't have that provision necessarily. And well, yeah, go figure, right? Some do, but it came to my attention that some
Thank you,
don't.
Tim.
You're welcome.
Some don't. And so right now, the co-op is going to be in touch via Jim Pressure with Wheelabrator to find out how it could possibly be that anybody else can get a cheaper tipping fee than we can get. Yeah. Because what Wheelabrator is doing is going around and like said, let's just say they go to the outlet mall over there. We'll just say it's 10 tons or 20 tons of trash. They would take that 20 tons and charge them $20 less per ton and haul it down to the same Wheelabrator, only they would be undercutting the town of Tilton. There's a fee attached to that tonnage.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't have an answer on that yet, but Jim is going to be finding out. I will let you know. This is for the Selectmen's office. Anybody who's curious about the numbers,
Thank you, Joe.
I'll make sure
Appreciate
you
it.
get it before we leave.
Okay. Town Administrator's report.
Okay, so I'll direct you to my report in your binders. I'm going to hold off on the MS 535. I did not put it in your to be signed folder after all. You will see that there is, for job description change, there's some slight changes to the land use technician position, which our new land use technician is starting on Monday, the 29th. And in your to be signed folder, you'll see that there were two changes, one of which was changing it from part-time to full-time, and then which the board had approved, and then the other was removing the specific reference to a piece of software and just making the sentence more generic to permitting software. So that's in your to be signed folder. I have notified the auctioneer and heard back from him. I've also posted on the website, changed the calendar, changed the website, and put out on Facebook that the auction is canceled for Saturday. In addition, in the to be signed folder, you'll see a listing of vehicles to be auctioned, and these are the vehicles that are no longer in service. There are four of them. It's the senior center bus, the former building inspector's Ford Explorer, the Toyota Tacoma, and a Chevy 2500 pickup. And those items would be posted on Municipid first. If they don't sell there, then we would seek to offer them privately for sale. And if they don't sell there, then we'd look to sell them for scrap. So, or to a junkyard, whichever, that we could get the most money for. And that's in your to be signed folder. The other items, as you know, I've been working on the town administrator search.
Can we talk about the vehicles for a minute? Before they do that, they empty it because like the senior center bus, we have emergency blanket and fire first aid equipment and things like that. They'll empty that out before they do anything. Correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. Anything of value or anything town owned that's in the vehicles now that that would be removed before taking pictures and posting on Municipid. That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Um, Let's see. So the town administrator search, we're very close. I'll have an update for you in non-public, and I believe that will take care of that. That has been my number one priority, as you know, and has used a lot more of my time than I would have imagined. But I'm very pleased with where we are. As for item B, the audit work's been completed. We're waiting the final report. And then also the budget is well underway, and I'm going to talk about that in a few minutes. And you can see the rest of these. We have 2 employee evaluations to do this evening, and then we'll be done with all those. We're still waiting on the town administrator's office's air conditioning unit, but that should be very soon. We are and have heard from the engineers for both the 2 engineers that are bidding on Academy Street, and one will have theirs into us next week, and the other is trying to get it done by the end of the month. In addition, I did hear back from Turner regarding the bridge, and they are working very hard with a company in southern Maine that works on material like that, and they're hopeful that that they'll be successful in getting them to take a look and bid on parts of the repair. So if that option is going to work, I think it seems as though this is going to be that might be their best bet. Otherwise, they'll explore the other 2 options. But as the board wished, they're looking at the repair in place first. I expect to have that they'll be providing us an update monthly on the bridge. So hopefully by this time next month, we'll have an update to that. We do have a quote, which is in
Some of those.
we do have a quote for paving for Morrison Avenue, and I'm going to see about scheduling the company to come in on August 15th to speak to the board because
Where's that quote?
It's in the town administrator reports area towards the back. It's after the stage air conditioning quote behind the land auction information. And unfortunately, they're unable to do any of the work until spring. And this quote is just for Morrison Avenue. So in any event, I'm certainly not prepared to speak on it, but I would like to schedule them for August 15th to come talk to the board. So it's in, if you're looking through your binder, it's under the town admin, and it's about the next to last item in that section. Outside of that, Catherine had already mentioned about DPW working on Vest Pocket Park. Tomorrow morning, they're going to be pulling out the rest of the old post, and we're just going to do the project ourselves because we were unable to get Superior Fence. So they've already had it dig safed, and they're going to pull the rest of it out. They'll measure the post, they'll buy a post, we'll set the sign ourselves, and hopefully we'll have it back in not too long a time frame. The crosswalk signs are anticipated to be here very soon, the new crosswalk signs, and DPW is going to be getting with the PD in terms of placement, and and they're also unsure as to how they're supposed to be mounted, but those things will get worked out once they're here. Outside of that, I move on to item 5 of my report, which is regarding mutual support of governmental units. So one of the items that's come up in the past has been regarding the school districts, cooperative school districts fees, permit fees that we might charge, as well as fees that the school district would charge us. And in the time that, I guess the last time we paid for the use of one of the buildings, where they oftentimes have to pay their janitorial staff overtime because we're meeting on a Saturday morning, or it's an odd time where they have to have somebody stay late for voting. And I've calculated that we would have paid somewhere in the $20,000 to $30,000 amount over the course of the time since we last paid in 2015. So what they experience with the other municipalities, both Samerton and Northfield, is that they have a complementary arrangement. When the towns need the use of the facility, they use the facility. There's no charge, even when the school district has to pay for overtime for janitorial staff or somebody to rearrange things. And in turn, the towns don't charge them for permit fees or other types of fees associated with, with the activity of the buildings. So in any event, the school district was looking to do the same thing with Tilton. They don't have anything formally in place with the other towns, but they do incur costs, and they feel as though they've been providing their side of the quid pro quo, but we just need to do our side of the quid pro quo. And I've talked with the building inspector regarding the efforts. He's had meetings with the school district regarding the new CTE center, and he and Sean Valvani from the fire district have met with the architects, and the building inspector doesn't see any additional work outside of his regular schedule that it would require. So in other words, we're able to handle, the permitting activities that would come up from the school district within our normal course of business. So in any event, so what I'm recommending is that we adopt the same practice of the other two district towns and not charge for permits for the school district. And I'm looking for some type of consensus or vote.
It's kind of seems kind of shady to me, to be honest. If we don't charge you for the gym, you won't charge us for permits. It seems like we're supposed to be doing things at what it costs and per what everybody else has to do. It just doesn't seem right. I mowed the lawn across the street from my house that belongs to the town for 15 years. Can I get some type of deal with the town?
Well, so I sort of think of this as like a mutual aid.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like it, but it sounds like,
well, we don't
under the
charge
table stuff.
We don't charge the fire district for use of the town hall.
Or the parking lot.
Or the parking lot. We, mutual aid services through public safety are done all the time without any fees or costs going back and forth. Well, but in terms of, kind of governmental support. So,
Can we ask our attorney about that one? That's proper.
It is apparently widely done. I
might open a can of worms, John, that we don't want to go there.
Yeah, or that maybe we shouldn't be doing. We'll give you building permits and fee free in exchange for use. I didn't think that a municipality does a barter system with, official things like that.
Well, we do. We are definitely on the debit side of this relationship. That's for sure. I mean, we would have been paying $20,000 or more for the use that we've had since they've last charged us, and they haven't, just out of the good faith, and they're just relaying to the board, what happens in Northfield and Samerton.
In exchange, what they suggest in exchange.
The second part of the New Hampshire State Constitution allows us to come into agreements with entities that, there's an exchange, an equal exchange. We're going to plow your parking lot in exchange for allowing us to use your parking lot, or we're going to whatever. So that's what they're doing, is we're going to allow you to use our facility without charging you a fee. And in exchange, you don't charge us for building permits, but that's a one-time.
So it's a waivement of fee.
We're waiving those fees in exchange for not paying to use the building. So would we be agreeing to never charge them building fees for anything, and they would agree to never charge us for using their building?
Right.
For voting in town
But that
meeting.
doesn't mean that they don't have to live up to the expectation of what the permit
Oh,
to
no,
the, to the, to the.
absolutely.
I just want to make that very
Oh,
Yeah,
clear.
no,
they
it's,
still are-
it's,
They just don't have to pay.
They just
it's
don't pay the
just the
permit
fee. They still
Just
have
the
to
fee,
adhere
correct.
to
Right.
the
Oh,
everything else.
I know that. I want for the record.
Yeah.
On film.
Yep.
I'd be looking for them to agree to never charge us for using their facility for voting or
I know
town
what
meeting.
this is about. Unless we have a regular MOU and everything down and in writing, we have their word. And they've been real good about it for the last, 6, 7 years?
9 years.
9 years. They haven't charged us.
They have
But we
not
didn't
charged
have their
us.
word. It was just they didn't charge us.
That's correct.
Until somebody says they should.
Right. So now if we say no, you're going to have to pay the permit fees, they'll charge us.
I'm guessing that that's what will happen.
But these permit fees are a one-time thing for this building.
Wait,
It's the first building project they've had over there for how many years?
no.
Well, they have other smaller maintenance
There are other
items,
fees coming up.
electrical.
Right. I changed my hat for a second. There's another fee coming up, like for middle school for an electrical permit. There's other fees that come up.
Okay, smaller fees though.
Right.
Right.
Well,
Yeah, they don't add up to $20,000 or $30,000.
No.
I'm
Right.
sure.
No.
correct.
I'm a yes.
I'm a yes.
I'm a yes.
Mhm.
Just, we should have something. at
Yeah,
least
just
an
as long as
understanding
we
in
have
writing.
yeah.
So moved.
What was moved?
Yeah, that's
Something in writing
ambiguous.
or just, I didn't understand.
That we enter into an agreement with the
An MOU?
an MOU with the Winnisquam Regional School District.
And pending that MOU, is the board in agreement to waive permit fees while this is being
I'm a yes.
approved?
I didn't get a second on my
Oh,
motion.
I'm sorry.
So we approved the MOU.
Okay, second.
Okay. All right. Now we're in discussion.
So we're going to approve an MOU before it's written?
Well, no, what I'm asking is, would you agree to
Waive the fees
waive
for
the
the
fees
permit that
in
we have.
anticipation of the MOU
Right.
being signed by the school district and the town?
I'd agree to hold the fees until we have the MOU signed.
Okay.
Yep.
But not waive the fees. Put them in limbo until we have an MOU.
Okay.
Yep.
Very good.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor of the motion?
What was the motion?
Motion is to create an MOU with the Winnisquam
Just wanted to
District.
make sure. Thank you.
Yep.
Second.
Yep. You already seconded it.
All right.
All those in favor?
All right.
Aye. Opposed? Okay.
Okay, great. All right, then, let's see, in terms of item number 6 on page 2, you'll see in your to be signed folder is a redemption, an elderly redemption. That is all complete. I have all the documentation if you wish to see any of the payments or the how it was satisfied. And it was very useful in making use of the attorney to help sort out some of the difficulties with the registry. And I have to give a big thank you and kudos to Amy Despins, the administrative assistant, who did a great job in terms of researching and pulling together the information that was in many different areas and organizing it in such a way that made it easy to draw this to conclusion, since the property owner wanted to get this taken care of as quickly as possible. So
Thank you, Amy.
great job by Amy.
Thank you, Amy.
And then item 7 is null and void. So item 8 regarding the budget. So the first of all, looking at and projecting the wages and benefits for 2025 with a few changes, with the anticipated hire of the town administrator, with the an assigned detective in the PD from patrol, and with also considering filling an existing open position at the PD, and then changing the transfer station open position to be a 10-hour a week part-time position. We are looking at a reduction of $1,282 in the 2025 budget over the 2024 budget, which is really amazing considering the collective bargaining increase that went into effect. And so that's absorbing that. And so I'm hopeful that once the budget is done, once we get more information from the department heads, because they're working on their individual lines that pertain to their departments and looking at those significant items that they need and justifying those to the board and budget committee. I do think that we've got a chance of having a very little or no increase in the 25 budget.
Taxes
So.
going down. Come on.
I didn't say taxes were going down, because we are if you consider we're a small portion of the overall tax
I
rate.
understand.
But
Our
for
part.
the town portion, we've got a chance for the first time in many years. And there's a lot of reasons for that. We have a lot of new personnel, some of which, were hired in at lower rates than the personnel that left. But there are many different reasons why we're able to do this. And so in any event, I've also put some details in there in terms of, what those items are. And as we get further along into the budget activity, I'll be sure to, have all the specifics for you. Outside of that, there's a list of open projects, but otherwise, that is pretty much all I've got for you this evening.
Thanks, Tim.
Mhm.
I have a
Has
question.
anything else come
Yeah,
before?
what's, do you know what the status is on this light on the pole out here? I don't see that on the open projects.
The light on the pole with this,
On the telephone pole.
this one, the
Yeah,
new one.
because
No, I don't. I can contact Eversource and see where we are
I
with
think
that.
there were a couple that we had asked about. Like, it was before you took over.
Okay.
There was one at Sherwood Drive and Main Street that was supposed to have been replaced. Did you have one? Somebody else saw one somewhere that didn't get replaced.
Mine got
It was up
re-
towards Yellow. Was that the one?
Sherwood Drive one.
Yeah,
That the
Sherwood.
light was out?
No, it was supposed to get replaced, all those, but
With the new
they
pole.
missed it.
With
Yeah.
the new pole. I see what you're
No,
saying.
well, it
Okay.
was when we had done the LEDs, there's one on Sherwood Drive that's one of the old lights. And,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, right at that corner where the crosswalk is.
Okay.
And then that's an add-on.
That would be the add-on.
Is out here.
Maple Court was one too, but they replaced it when they replaced the pole.
Oh, did they?
Yep.
The
Good.
LED in?
Yep.
Nice.
Okay. All right. I'll see where those stand.
Okay, it is. Did everybody sign it to be signed? I don't think I did. There was a couple that we couldn't because
have a
there's
question.
changes.
Oh, that's what it's on.
Okay.
In the, it's not really a question. In the land use job summary, we still have the building inspector, code enforcement officer as one.
So,
So it says, it's just the building inspector / code enforcement officer.
okay.
It should assist the building inspector and the zoning code enforcement officer. And that's in a couple of places.
All right, I can make that correction.
And which one was that job
Land
description?
use.
Land use technician?
Yeah.
Technician, yep.
Oh, okay.
What was the other one?
Okay. Got it.
Um, all set? Everybody else sign what we could sign on this to be signed? Want to double check it and make sure. So I think
Yes.
that does it. So anything from the public or online before we go into a non-public? You may have, yeah, go ahead, Greg. August 1st. Yep. Be there or be square.
Are we making residents aware of that
Yes.
beyond just posting the agenda?
It's been out on Facebook. We can send out an alert if you like.
I don't do Facebook, so I wouldn't have seen it.
Oh, here's mine.
Thank you, Tim.
Yep.
Okay. The time being 7:07, I make a motion to move into non-public per RSA 91A:3, 2A and B. The dismissal, promotion, or compensation of any public employee, the disciplining of such employee, the investigation of any charges against him or her, unless the employee affected has the right to a public meeting, and 2, request that the meeting be open, in which case the request shall be granted. And 91A:3, 2B, the hiring of any person as a public employee. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Roll call vote.
Jessamine, yes.
Scanlon, yes.
Ruggles, yes.
Dawson, yeah.
Constantino, yes. Good night, everyone.
Right.
This conference will now be recorded.
Not in by a certain hour and the doors get locked.
I got all these.
Pat, you're on.
Yep, thank you. Welcome back, everyone. I'd like to make a motion to seal the minutes of July 25th because the reasons justify the need for the non-public session to still remain permanently.
Jessamine, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Scott, you'll always be in our thoughts.
Thank you.
Keep us
I'll-
in yours, please, and keep us updated as you go through this next journey, please.
I
Good
still have everyone's phone number, so
Good.
I won't hesitate to say hi.
All right,
Oh,
great.
good.
Can you still make some comments to straighten things out on Facebook?
Yeah, on
for us?
Facebook, yeah.
I'll stay up.
Can you be our
Every
moderator?
once, every
on
once in a
Facebook?
while, I'll hop in on here and raise my hand. too.
But don't go Lola, please, will you?
No,
Just,
no.
put your real name up there.
Oh, no.
Thanks.
I'll keep the same thing. Yeah.
Oh, okay, great.
absolutely. Yeah. not
All
gonna-
right. Thank you for all that you've done for us.
It's been
Thank
truly
you.
been my pleasure.
I think Joe is really itching to say something.
I have one more thing, if it's
Great.
okay, Madam Chair.
Yep.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.